Shalom. Hope you can hear me. So I'm really trying to make sure that this distortion thing goes away. I have no idea why it did that. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. So, maybe it's easier for people to see, I don't know. But we're going to talk about wiretapping. And I did a table, I felt I was supposed to do that. And there's some connections here I think it's important to make here. And I did the other table I was talking about in my other video. So we're going to start with this article from the New York Post. And this again was back in February. And so I save articles, until I feel impressed to develop them or go further with them. And again, this is just confirming what's coming up. This is, in the last table, Salvatore. And he goes on and talks about his army being commanded from his bunker less than 2 miles from the White House. And they're determined to salvage whatever in his mind he thinks his legacy is. Again, that was the last table, and he's talking about marching orders for his foot soldiers. So I really want, you really need to start thinking about this in a completely different way from what theologians have talked about, because it's not happening like that. Some of the old timers, they didn't have any of this technology or able to do this. So we're in some significant times. So he's going to try to install his civil rights chief, Tom Perez, at the helm of the Democratic National Committee. And you're going to see me early next year, he told his OFA troops after the election. And we're going to be in a position where we can start cooking up all kinds of great stuff. Can you imagine what that is? So I'm going to show you that, and then here's this. I want to make some connections with the scripture verses so that you understand where this is in relation to scripture. And I'm sorry, I completely changed. I have no idea why my computer just did that. Ugh. So here's an article from Yahoo News. Oh no, and it says this is not a drill. So, and then he talks about what I really wanted to point out is that all this is to say Barry will be back. So even in the news media, again, this is March 1st, 2017, they said his name was Barry and he's coming back. So don't think that they don't know what's going on. They do. So he's talking about this, and his endeavors include fundraising and working with state legislators. He said it's coming, he's coming, and he's ready to roll. I don't know how much more obvious you can get, so this is just what's going on in the media and what they're saying. And what does Alba say? So we know that all this stuff's happening, and we need to get prepared. And so just like it was in the book of Esther, the decree was given. They were permitted to stand and fight, and that is something that we should be grateful for, that we are able to stand and fight. And that we are able to, when having done all to stand therefore, having your girded about with truth. So I did a couple of tables, and we talked about the wiretapping, so that is the code that I felt impressed to use, so I did. And then we're going to talk about another Bible code that I did, and I mentioned in the last video, Locust, and how that came up. So this is the scriptures we're going to go through so it can make sense. And it's not that one. Again, it's not that one. It's probably this one. Okay, here we go. Now remember what happened in Haggai. So he really was digging into something, and because it was the code table had brought up Sodom, And so when I started seeing the threat of Sodom and what the definite why Sodom was destroyed, then it started making sense. Okay, so Haggai 2:18, give carefully, do consider from this day onward, from the 24th day of the 9th month. That's Kislev, okay? So we know about the UN resolution 2334. And so who did it, and how Obama, his name come up as Gog, and things like that. So also it's come up as Haman, an Agagite. So when you looked at Haggai 2:20 again, though, and it said, I was reading this in like a second time, but it doesn't say the name of the month. Like here it says the 9th month, okay, or the 24th day of the month. Maybe it's a different month, I don't know, but no name of the month is Gisna in English, so I just made the connection based on that, and it seemed to flow, so I just went ahead and went with the flow. Speak to Zerubbabel means seed of Babel or pressed out of Babel. And what was really significant is I'm going to shake the heavens and the earth. And again, this is just events, connecting events together and on the dates. I just thought that was interesting because this is a connection about the oil video that I did. And that it was the control for the 2 types of oil. And again, it's about the control. And here, this same day, the 24th day of March, which is the 12th month of Adar. Again, you can do the numbers thing. They're going to be working on this. And I thought that they wanted to get an approval completed before Monday, the end of the 60-day time frame under Trump's January executive order. Monday is the deadline, and I thought, well, why are they rushing so much to get this done before Monday? And it seems almost like we're in some kind of countdown or something. So based on those articles that we just went through, like somebody's in a hurry. And so this is the same pattern that I see in Maccabees, Kislev, and Adar. So we'll go through that in a little bit, but because one of the scriptures has hammer in it. So the time frame we're coming into, again, this is important because Jeremiah 50, as when God or Elohim overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And when was it? It was during the Feast of Unleavened Bread, sometime around that time frame, because Genesis 19:3 states that. Okay? And here's the hammer. Now in Jeremiah, it also says in chapter 50, verse 23, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Maccabees, as used to describe the Jewish army, is taken from the Hebrew word for hammer. And there are 2 time frames mentioned in the book of Maccabees, Kislev and Adar. So just from a research perspective, we're just looking at time frames. Again, the temple was destroyed 2 times on the 9th of Adar. So people are like, oh, we don't do Maccabees. Really? Just get the religiosity aside. Think about it from a research perspective. Look at it from a historical perspective. People get all in this uproar about this stuff, and it's like, use your common sense and critical thinking skills and start researching these things outside of your religion, okay? And it says, who is it? Now I say, who is it? Because who's coming against them? And he says, behold, a people cometh from a great nation, and many kings, sovereigns. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth quaketh, and a cry is heard among the nations. Zephaniah. And then it says, hush, in the presence of Master Yehovah, for the day of Yehovah is near. For Yehovah has prepared a slaughter. He has set apart his invited ones. And on that day there shall be, declares Yehovah, the sound of a cry from the fish gate, and of a howling from the second quarter, and of a great crashing from the hills. Therefore I live, an affirmation of Yehovah of hosts, armies, Elohim of Israel. Surely Moab is as Sodom, and the sons of Ammon as Gomorrah, an overrunning of nettles and salt pits, and a desolation unto the age. A residue of my people do seize them, and a remnant of my people, of my nation, inherit them. This is what they get for their pride, because they have reproached and exalted themselves against the people of Yehovah of hosts. Near the great day of Yehovah, near and hasting exceedingly, the noise of the day of Yehovah, bitterly shriek, there doth a mighty one. A day of wrath is that day, a day of adversity and distress, a day of waste and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of cloud and thick darkness, the day of the Lord. Okay? So you have to look at this from a perspective like, which Lord were they talking about? And the reason why is because Baal, B-A-A-L. So whose Lord is it? So, I mean, I think it's really interesting. This is kind of, he's dividing it just like he did between the Israelites and the Egyptians. Who they want as their Lord over them, and who does the Israelites want as their husband. So look at it that way. There is no justice, and Trump has not brought charges on the guilty. And the reason why is pride. Because what happens is a judge, in the Hebrew definition in ancient Hebrew, is one who restores life. So you have these wicked people that have done these things throughout the years, and there's not one to bring justice to the ones that they have done horrible things to. And he sees that. So Abba sees that, and that's why the day of wrath, because he's got given a chance. And why won't that happen? I don't know. So Hezekiah, there's a connection between Zephaniah, what we just read, and Hezekiah. And I thought this was neat because the great-great-grandfather of the prophet Zephaniah was Hezekiah. And the reason why is because we were talking about getting our houses in order and preparing. In those days, Hezekiah became mortally ill, and Isaiah the prophet, son of Amos, came to him and said to him, Thus says Jehovah, set your house in order. Because we're looking at the time frame. Because Sodom and Gomorrah, when were they destroyed, was around the time of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So what is the word for order? And it's Seder. So look at this. It's really something. For you shall die and not live. Jeremiah 18:19-12. If that nation against which I have spoken turns from its evil, I will relent concerning the calamity I plan to bring on it. Or at another moment I might speak concerning a nation or concerning a kingdom to build up or to plant it. If it does evil in my sight by not obeying my voice, then I will think better of the good with which I had promised to bless it. And he goes on, he says, Behold, I am fashioning calamity against you and devising a plan against you. O turn back, each of you from his evil way, and reform your ways and your deeds. But they will say, it's hopeless, for we are going to follow our own plans, and each of us will act according to the stubbornness of his evil heart. So I wanted to show that because, first of all, we'll go through this table, and this is the one I talked about in my last video, and I'll go to the beginning here. I did the Locust, because remember, he says he has an army under him in the article. So I did this last year, and what came up in the void and in the scripture, it was Isaiah 14:20 to Isaiah 18:1. He has a plot. He had a plot last year. He's had a plot for a long time. My heart shall cry out for Moab. His fugitives shall flee to Zoar. A heifer of 3 years old, for by the ascent of the heath with weeping. Okay? Locust. At a skip of 127. There's locust here, and that's the scripture verse that came up in, okay? You can see here, and again, just did search with swarming, spawning, whisper, armies, M-O-L-E-C-H. Here you have B-A-A-L, those that want him. And you have Dedan. And again you have Barry. They know who he is. Bribe with Salmon. Okay, and this came up 2010, along with Catholic. And again, Barry in a different way. So we have this table for that. I wanted to show you, this is so interesting to me, the scripture verse. To the law and to the testimony, if they do not speak according to this word, it is because they have no dawn. Okay, so this is Isaiah 8:20. And we're going to look this up here. I'm going to use word, and look at the scripture references here. Dawned. So you have a time frame that's talking about this dawning. There's a season coming up. And they was really at the dawning. So look at the time frames that this is talking about. Scroll right there. So you can go through and read. I would highly recommend reading these references in here. Early light, morning, which rises, and it also in Isaiah it talks about wheat and storm, usually, but improbably dawn, origin of calamity. So look at the words and think of the connections that I was bringing out. And at the dawning of the day and marched. So you have Joshua 6:15. You have the approaching of dawn. So here we are. We're at the approaching of dawn time frame, okay? Which it says very clearly is when they're in a time frame of Feast of Unleavened Bread. So I'm going to go through and look at the scriptures. Isaiah, hear the word of Jehovah, you rulers of Sodom. Give ear to the instruction of your Elohim, you people of Gomorrah. So we're definitely in the time frame of this. They will look to the earth and behold distress and darkness, the gloom of anguish. They will be driven away into darkness. And they're still crying out. Stand by the ways, ask for the ancient paths, where the good way is, and walk in it. And you will find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk in it. Why? Because of pride. Behold, this was the guilt of your sister Sodom. She and her daughters had arrogance, abundant food, and careless ease, but she did not help the poor and needy. Here you have these unjust judges that are bringing wickedness to the people, the poor and needy, and no one's trying to restore life to them. He sees this, and his wrath is building, and he's been patient. Thus they were haughty and committed abominations before me. Therefore I removed them when I saw it. Behold, this was the guilt of your sister Sodom. And again, this is just another translation. It talks about pride. Fulness of bread and careless ease was in her and her daughters. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor and the needy. So this is the scripture for that. And then we're going to look at the wiretapping. This is at a skip of 3:16, Leviticus 20, verse 7, and Leviticus 23, verse 42. So here is where it ends at. Neither from a stranger's hand shall you offer the bread of your Elohim of any of these, because their corruption is in them. So you have the hay here. It starts, and that's where it ends at. And then spoke to Moshe saying. So here's wiretapping. Let's skip at 3:16. Invisible, concealed, vanish, disappear, clandestine, cryptic, confidential, underhand, classified, secret, north, hidden, secret, confidence, calculator, computer, again, arcanum, here we have berry, shadow, remember the shadow government, desolate, destroyed, parched, he's the sword, again another way to do sword, army, he has his army, warfare, secret, Sodom, and one of the combinations, I just looked up a bunch of words, and the words did come up, and it came up 666 times, so that's where I was like, oh, let's just see what 666 brought up in this, and it brought up Sodom, and breast, he's nourishing his army, and those that want him, okay, and sodomite. So again, you have this coming up in the season 1 with wiretapping, and what he's doing is bringing this, and he's the sword because of our nation's not repenting. There's no justice being brought to the people for what has been done, and you can see for yourself that let me try just to do something real fast just to see if it'll come up, but like ayin in ancient Hebrew is to see, perceive, and you can see what the word will show up in these tables, because each one of them can be different based on the subject matter. I don't know if it will or not, but we'll see. Breeder, tower. So something's going on with the tower. And that could be Nimrod's tower, that could be all kinds of different stuff. There's multiple towers here that we're looking at, and there are towers all over the world. So I just wanted to get this out, and I hope this blesses, and prepare your house. Repent, return to him, cry out to him, humble yourselves, and once you've done that, when having done all to stand, and prepare to see the salvation of Yehovah. Shalom.